Hey guys, it's Rich with your first official Saintly Sunday video. In this video, I want to talk about Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene's feast day is on the 22nd, so you guys have plenty of time to get anything together that you want to do a ritual or a veneration of Mary Magdalene between now and the 22nd, which is like Sunday. So plenty of time to get a couple things together for a simple little ritual or a more complicated one, depending on how you like to do ritual. I will get into some other stuff about different ritual aspects and stuff like that that you can do if you so choose. But first, I want to give a shout out to Audible. If you guys go into the bottom bar and you click the link, there's a link for audibletrial.com/Christo-Paganism. If you click on that, it helps sponsor this channel as well as Christo-Paganism.com. And the book that I am suggesting this week is The Meaning of Mary Magdalene. I liked this book. I really did. It's a little analytical, so if you are not one to listen to an analytical type of discussion, then this might not be for you. However, it is jam-packed full of information over the span of like 7 to 8 hours. I think it's like 7 hours and 40-something on minutes. So a lot of information stuffed into a good chunk of time. And since whenever you click on that little link down in the bottom bar, you get a free book. You can use that free book to buy The Meaning of Mary Magdalene. And I'm going to put all these resources in the bottom bar too, so you don't have to sit there and write as I'm talking. The other one that I am referencing is Saints for All Seasons by Victor J. Green. This has a handful of different saints, and I'm just going to put that up there. You guys can pause if you wish. But it has a handful of different saints that are discussed in this book, when their feast days are, you know, different stories and this and that. So nice little book. And this one I found in a secondhand shop. I found Saints for All Seasons in a secondhand shop as well. But this one I found in a secondhand shop, and it's in a box set, so you get like 2 years for the price of one. But it has a saint for every day, and this is Lives of the Saints, and this is by Catholic Book Publishing Company. A nice little box set that I got for a couple bucks, like I said, at a secondhand bookshop. Absolutely love it. Great reference. And lastly, but certainly not least, is, let me get it here, the Encyclopedia of Mystics, Saints, and Sages by Judika. You may know this author from her works on the Book of 5,000 Spells. So, yeah, or the Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells. Wonderful author. Follow her on Twitter. Great things shared on Twitter as far as history and whatnot. So if you like history, definitely follow Judika. So I will also be referencing, while making the video, to the book, because I got writer's cramp as I was trying to copy down notes here and there from websites and whatnot. So since this has a lot of information in it on Mary Magdalene, I really want to just reference it while I'm making the video. So like I said, the feast day is on the 22nd of July. That's a Saturday. So you guys have all week to get whatever materials you want to get together between now and then. A short biography. Mary Magdalene has been done in documentaries and books and movie portrayals and fiction and non-fiction type of books and theories, and everything's gone around about Mary Magdalene. If you've been living under a rock the last like 15 years, you probably haven't really thought of Mary Magdalene, but people such as Dan Brown have kind of opened up the can of worms again with his Da Vinci Code. Also, in what year was that? 1982, Holy Grail came out, which also opened up a can of worms. Not to mention the discovery of the Nag Hammadi texts, which have the Gospel according to Philip and the Gospel according to Mary, which is often thought of as being written by Mary Magdalene in the early part of the 2nd century. So I have not gotten to read any of the Nag Hammadi texts, so I cannot really speak too intelligently, except for what I've read in books or had read to me through Audible. But I will try to summarize all that stuff up. Excuse me. A lot of talking in this video. Anyway. So, a little bit about Mary Magdalene to begin with is we don't know a lot about her early life. We basically only know what the gospel, the canonical gospels tell us. And with that, I also want to say that there's probably a lot of it cut out because she didn't seem like an important figure. For one, she was a woman. For two, patriarchy. And for three, kind of a side person, not somebody that had a real influential type of interaction in the canonical Gospels. Again, referencing to the Nag Hammadi text, we see differently. So, anyway, getting ahead of myself, going with what we know or what we can surmise, what is generally acknowledged as fact is, given her name as Mary Magdalene, we can deduce that she was from Magdala, which is on the Sea of Galilee, on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. We commonly think that area is where she was born, grew up, or at very least lived. Maybe all three. She is mentioned as being a disciple of Christ. It's stated that she had 7 demons excised out of her. She was at the crucifixion, and she is mentioned as being a part of the group, if not the only one, that went to anoint Christ's body on the day of resurrection, which we now know as Easter Sunday. Now, there are differences according to which gospel you read, whether she was the only one or just one of the group of women that went to anoint the body, which also gives her the title of myrrh bearer, because they were taking myrrh to anoint the body. She is also known as the apostle to the apostles, because she was given a directive by Christ to go spread the word that he has risen. And that is the reason that the Catholic Church venerates her on July 22nd. Not anything else that happened in her life. It's mainly because she was there at the resurrection. That's why the Catholic Church venerates her. I venerate her for other reasons as well. So now let's discuss some of the conflicting stories of Mary Magdalene. One of them is that, and you may know this from Dan Brown's book, The Da Vinci Code, is that she was the bearer of Christ's child before he was crucified, and she was put on a boat without oars or sails, and it ended up in Marseille, France, I believe, if I have my stories correct, if I have my locations correct. I'm not a geography major. I don't know. So anyway, she ends up in France, gives birth to this child, and that starts the Holy Bloodline. So that's one theory. I don't know if I necessarily believe that theory, and there are conflicting theories on if she ever went to France or if she went to Egypt. But before I move on to the Egypt and whatnot, I want to give one of the first tarot cards for Mary Magdalene, or one of the ones that I kind of connected with her, but I was kind of iffy whether or not I wanted to connect it with her. And once I looked at Judika Elias, and it said that my other card was definitely one that was connected to her, and it also gave this one. I thought I should too. So the first card is the Empress, and that is to signify the birth-giving aspect of the Holy Bloodline. That is why the Empress is one card that is connected to Mary Magdalene. And if you look over my shoulder here, that's Jelly. Anyway. Yeah, it's like 6, 7 in the morning on Saturday whenever I'm recording this. So, yeah, they're getting a little frisky, and it's probably time for them to eat here soon. So, anyway. So there's another conflicting story that they went to France, her and I believe it was Joseph of Arimathea, which she is rumored to also have been in a marriage with. Different stories, different conflicting thoughts. And one theory is that her and Joseph of Arimathea were the ones getting married at the wedding that Christ did his first miracle at. Again, conflicting stories. Nothing concrete, and I don't know if I necessarily follow that line of logic. So one story says that she goes to Egypt, another one says that she goes to France. Where she actually went, we don't know. Another one says that she went to Constantinople. One says that she went to Rome, where we get now our tradition of the Easter egg. There's a story of her taking eggs, possibly just to nourish herself, to the tomb, and while they were waiting for somebody to come and move the boulder or move the stone, she would have something to eat, boiled eggs or hard-boiled eggs. So whenever she got there, they turned red, and that's why you see her depicted with having a red egg. Another story on the eggs and why we color them is whenever she went to Tiberius Caesar to proclaim that Jesus has risen, and he says, well, if that's the truth, then that white egg in your hand would turn red, and it immediately did. So that's another reason that we have colored eggs. And of course, the website that I was looking on, which is a Catholic website, did not shy away from the fact that eggs were also commonly used in pagan practice to denote the spring. So they did give credit to the pagans on that aspect, which I do appreciate from that website. And I will also leave a link to that in the bottom bar. So, interesting little tidbits there. Loved that. But we really don't know where she went or where she ended up till the end of her days. We don't know for sure. And unless there is a bloodline, we don't really have DNA evidence to proclaim that, yes, this person was Mary Magdalene. And of course, we don't have a solid bloodline, like a genealogy chart, to show that, yes, this person, was the mother of this person, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're not certain. And what it ends up being is it could be any one of those. So I leave it up to you guys to figure out what holds true for you and to take that away as you wish. Another thing that Mary Magdalene is known for is prostitution. This comes from Pope Gregory the Great, or as I know him, Pope Gregory the Not-So-Great, because he took 3 different Marys and combined them into one Mary, calling it Mary Magdalene. And instead of Mary Magdalene having 7 demons cast out of her, which I have other feelings about, and I will get onto that later, we have a Mary Magdalene that was a prostitute, a whore, and condemned by the church. And whenever she had the demons cast out of her, that was the end of her prostitution days, and she followed Christ. Of course, that is not true. So, what is true about that is that Pope Gregory wanted to have all 3 of these Marys, instead of having Mary 1, Mary 2, and Mary Magdalene, put them all into one and call that the new Mary Magdalene. Of course, this is not true. You can have multiple people with the same name in the same area. Totally possible, especially with the name of Mary being so popular. So, then we have the anointing of Christ's feet, and that one I can believe a little bit more, that was Mary Magdalene that anointed Christ's feet. But again, in the text, I don't believe it actually said Mary Magdalene at the feet of Christ. So that one I can believe a little bit more, but I'm not totally sold on it. And I kind of actually do like that story, and it has her in a favorable light rather than saying she's a dirty prostitute that, has now been redeemed. A lot more favorable of light for Mary Magdalene, especially given who I believe she is. So I do like that aspect a little bit more, but we do know that she was not the prostitute. And then we get into the Gnostic teachings, where we have Mary Magdalene talked about in the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Philip. Now, in these Gospels, it does talk about her being a consort of Jesus. It also talks about her going away with Jesus to have enlightenment or possible enlightenment. And it could be that they went away to have marital relations, but that's too scandalous to be talking about here. I do subscribe to the fact that I believe that Christ gave her secret teachings that he didn't necessarily want to give to all of the other men. I think that he did value the women more than what the patriarchal church did in the coming years after. So I think that she probably had these secret teachings, and I also see her as an incarnation of Sophia, the goddess that I subscribe to, or that subscribes to me. Either way, there's a whole other video coming about that within this week. So stay tuned on that for the Stitch and Witch vlog on Thursday. But anyway, given this secret teaching and everything, this is the card that I picked for Mary Magdalene, and is also mentioned in Judika Ilias's book, the Encyclopedia of Mystics, Saints, and Sages, which is the High Priestess. Now, the thing I like about the High Priestess is that not only does she have this teaching, this knowledge, this wisdom of Sophia, but she also has it kind of guarded under her garments. And even though it says Torah, I like to think of that also as the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, kind of hiding those teachings and letting them out just a little bit at a time, revealing the truth a little bit at a time, and having that higher wisdom. So that was a lot of information in a little tiny bit of time, and I hope I said everything that I need to say on that one. So let's get into some of the people that she looks over, the favored individuals. Judika Ilias has here, favored people are beauticians, hairdressers, aromatherapists, perfumers, pharmacists, lovers, prostitutes, prisoners, or prisoners of love. Which, you know what? I probably fit in like 2 or 3 of those categories. So, yes, I definitely can relate to Mary Magdalene. That and so much more, I think, can be put in the favored people. Now, most of the time you're going to see Mary Magdalene in pictures and whatnot. You're going to see her with red hair. Sometimes she's holding an egg. Sometimes she's holding the alabaster jar, which is another book, The Woman with the Alabaster Jar. And also the, the jar, the little jug, is the alabaster jar as well. But it's to reflect that she was one of the myrrh bearers, or the person that had the perfume, that did the perfume on Christ's feet and wiped it off with her hair. I'm getting tongue-tied. I am so sorry. Mary Magdalene is invoked for fertility and for happy, easy pregnancies and successful childbirth. She's invoked to provide women's financial independence. And I'm going to just read a little bit here. In folk religion, Mary Magdalene is among the saints invoked in magic spells, especially love magic. For instance, spells to provide or identify a soulmate. The eve of her feast is believed especially well for prophetic dreams. Rituals have evolved to take advantage of the magical night. An English oracle is performed on the eve of Mary Magdalene's feast, so this would be on the 21st of July, in the hope of receiving prophetic dreams. It must be done in complete silence while remaining totally focused on what you seek to know. And here's the little recipe. I'm not going to put this in the bottom bar, but I think if you want to write this down, it's fairly simple. Blend wine, vinegar, and water in a dish and place it beside your bed. Soak a stalk of fresh rosemary in this liquid. Remove the stalk from the dish and shake off the excess liquid. Place it between your breasts and then go to sleep. Do not speak until after any dreams received are recorded. So this would keep in line with keeping a dream journal. If you do keep a dream journal, I've tried it. It doesn't really help me much, but I think I might try to take up that practice again in the future. But for me, I don't dream journal very often. But if you keep a dream journal, this might be a way that you receive prophetic dreams. So if you guys try this one out, I'm not going to necessarily try this one out, but if you do try this one out, let me know how it goes. Some other things that you might want to keep into consideration if you plan on honoring Mary Magdalene on the 22nd, or preparing to do something similar on the 21st into the 22nd, you might want to keep these in mind. Her attributes are an alabaster jar or box of perfumed unguent, a chalice, a skull, an egg, or a red egg. So these are types of symbolism that you might want to keep around for this type of working, either for these prophetic dreams. You can take the alabaster jar, you can put the sprig of rosemary in it, and followed with the rest of the recipe and all that, put the sprig of rosemary in it, because personally I wouldn't want to wear it on me whenever I go to bed, because it'll fall off, it'll go everywhere, all that stuff. So not necessarily for me, but if you put it in an alabaster jar, that might be something that is more symbolic and might also work for you. Other sacred plants are the spikenard, ox-eye daisy, also known as Magdalene daisy, and the African lily. The constellation Mary Magdalene is identified with the constellation Virgo, interpreted as resembling a lone woman holding the divine child. And offerings, and this goes into some stuff that I'm going to be doing, is white candles, the spikenard, I don't know how to pronounce this, myrrh, alabaster boxes, Galilean or French wine, and roses. So one thing that I think I'm going to do is, because the chalice is something that is sacred to Mary Magdalene, and because I haven't used my chalice in such a long time, and I really want to partake in using it again because it's been packed away for so long, is I think I'm going to, on Friday, pick up some roses, pick up some wine, and light a white candle and place the wine mixture, maybe also with a sprig of rosemary in there, and put all of that in the chalice as a nice little bouquet to Mary Magdalene. Now, I can use a different chalice than what is usually my working chalice. I can also use a vase to hold those things as a remembrance, and then light a candle. However you want to do it, that's up to you. But these are some ideas that I'm coming up with as I'm getting ready to venerate this wonderful person of Mary Magdalene. So, like I said, myrrh. I do have myrrh, so I might also light an incense with myrrh, or anoint the candle if I have myrrh oil. I'm not sure if I have myrrh oil. I think I do. So I might take some of that myrrh oil to anoint the candle, and then send up veneration, just saying thank you for being there, thank you for looking over us. If you have a love petition, this would be a great time for a love petition, asking for guidance in love for a soulmate, or for the person that you are meant to be with. Be very specific whenever you're doing this type of spell work, if you choose to do so. Check one of my previous videos for spells that go wrong, that type of stuff. I believe I talked about in the 77 Witchy Question Community Tag videos. So yes, if you're doing any type of spell work with love, be really specific, and yeah, be specific, but give room for Mary Magdalene to do her work. Don't be like specific by name, but be specific with what you truly desire, not leaving it totally open for comical interpretation or drastic interpretation. Yeah. So I will say that. So anyway, I know this is a longer video than what I intended it to be, but I could not leave so much information still on the table about Mary Magdalene that, you know, needs to be said. And if you guys want me to do a follow-up video on Mary Magdalene, I could probably do an entire documentary of Mary Magdalene. So again, all the resources are in the bottom bar. Have fun with it. Pay homage, honor her in whatever way you see fitting. If you are one that just likes to send up prayers, this is one that is in the Lives of the Saints. Again, this is a Catholic prayer. So the prayer is as follows. God, it was to Saint Mary Magdalene before all others that your Son committed the message of Easter joy. Through her intercession, may we one day contemplate him reigning in glory. Amen. So if you're into prayers, maybe that is one that you would like to use in your practice. So nice little tidbits there. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, do let me know down in the comments below. In the nether regions. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and click subscribe. It's right here, this little tiny box right here. Click that. If you have not been to Christo-Paganism.com, go ahead and go there. You can support it by either leaving a donation, you can purchase a reading. I am getting more readings together to put online, so those will be coming shortly, and I think I might also connect it to Etsy and whatnot. But anyway, go ahead and go there if you would like to support this channel and the website. I haven't updated it in a while, but I will hopefully be updating it here shortly or in the near future, and I will probably put the all the saints that I'm going to do in the future in there, so you have like the common attributes and whatnot for these saints that I cover. So if you would like to see that, then I will make another tab on there and figure all that stuff out. So if that's something that you would like to see, go ahead and let me know by commenting below. Until next time, may you guys have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.